In this video, Hikaru and I put together a massive tier maker of many popular gambits. The target audience for this video is about 1500 rating and lower. The 1500 and up version will be uploaded to Hikaru's YouTube channel in the future. If there's anything that we missed that you want in part 2, let me know in the comments below.
All right, so let's start. Albin Countergambit, exactly. So what are your thoughts?
Well, let me just toggle back here to our overlay. D4, D5, and against the Queen's Gambit, you play the move E5. I actually really like the Albin. I've taught it to a handful of people, and it's... Who's the pioneer of this? Morozevich at the highest level? Like, it's...
I'm not sure the history exactly. I suspect it was played at the highest level maybe in sometime in like the 1940s or 1950s potentially. I'm not sure the time period exactly, but there was a period when I think it was popular. And that faded into obscurity until Alexander Morozevich sort of resurrected it in around, I want to say, like 2004, 2005.
I think if I had to give it a ranking, I would probably give it the ranking of tons of tactics or easy to equalize, because obviously there is this legendary trap where you can under promote to a knight and win.
Right, exactly. Yeah, because after rook g1, there's bishop g4, which is winning. And to be fair, this is actually a legitimate gambit, something that can happen in a real game. Unlike this ridiculous, it's not on here, right? Let me check quickly. It's not.
Unlike
Englund? Oh, it is on here. But yeah, so anyway, I remember the other day, for whatever reason, I ended up on YouTube, and we'll be talking about this later as well. But there was this Englund Gambit. How did it go? How did black get the bishop out? There was some video that Eric Rosen had where you just hang a piece somewhere. Do you remember this one?
Bishop C, you mean this?
Oh yeah, and you play knight e7, yeah, and you hang your knight, and then you have this bishop f2, ridiculous nonsense. And so for whatever reason, maybe it's because the YouTube algorithm, it knew that something like that was on my mind or something. But I saw this video, and I was absolutely appalled and disgusted to see this in a video, frankly. So yeah, and this one kind of is complete nonsense because you just hope for a prayer. But in the Albin, this can actually legitimately happen with bishop b4, because bishop d2 is the main move, and then takes, and this whole thing would take on g1, and so it is very legitimate. I myself played it for a period as well, a couple of times at the highest level. Obviously we're doing this for beginners, so I sort of agree with you. I think it's legitimate. I don't think you get into a lot of trouble the way you can with other gambits. So I kind of would agree. Where would you put it?
I'll put it into tons of tactics for now. I'm gonna rank it in the B tier. So I don't know about very powerful, but I'm willing to put it up into very powerful. If white just plays normal moves like g3, bishop g2, and like white can get a totally okay position. So I mean,
white can also make a draw like Mr. Jakobian did against me too in the World Open, where I think it went d4, like it was something like knight f3, knight c6. I think it was like knight bd2, knight ge7, g3, knight g6, bishop g2. So it was something like this. It wasn't exactly this, but something like knight f3 and bishop f3. And I think we drew our game in like 15 moves. So white can also do that and just make a draw.
Yeah, I think at a lower level, it's very common to go e3. My only problem is that if white just learns like the move a3 and then stops bishop to b4, then and then plays like normal moves. But yeah, of course, e3 looks extremely natural. The other thing is, if you play this gambit, sometimes white will just do this. And
true, but you could also make the argument that when white does this, it's not as good. It's similar to when you play the Budapest Gambit. If white tries to play an e3, where generally if someone plays e3, you can just take on d4, and then after like knight f6 and quick development with bishop b4, you're just much better.
Yeah, the problem is that you're not getting like the gambit style stuff. You actually have to use your brain, which can be very intimidating for some of us.
In a way, yes, but at the same time, I would argue that after like e3 taking knight f6, it's very easy development with bishop b4 castles and rook e8. That's something that I think a beginner will be able to internalize very quickly.
Well, I'm putting it in B tier. What do you think? Or sorry, yeah, B tier. So tons
yeah,
of
no,
tactics.
I agree. I think tons of tactics is absolutely correct. I 100% would put it there as well.
Okay. Alekhines Gambit.
I don't actually know what that is. Sorry. So you're gonna have to refresh me. What is that?
I don't know what it is either.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
It's actually funny. Like I made the list, but what is the Alekhines Gambit? E4, knight f6. What?
Oh wait, is E4 knight f6 E5 knight f5 D4 B5? I literally have never seen this before. Okay. Okay. I've literally never. I think this is what it is. I'll double check. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
that's what it looks like.
Pulling names from a list, and okay.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah, that's what it is, I think.
Okay, well what is the point of b5?
Bishop takes b5, and the point should go c5 here.
And if they take, you have queen a5 check.
Yeah, this is certainly original, very different. It's something that I'm not familiar with at all.
b5, that is okay. Well, my first instinct is that this belongs in one trick.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that I literally have never seen it before. I mean, now I'm gonna go study it. Obviously, tells me that yeah,
you're gonna catch somebody with this.
I mean, I might play it. Well, I can't play it today because the only chess I'll be playing most likely will be Arena Kings. But yeah, I definitely will try it sometime.
Because at a high level, this is the main line for white. Like white will play knight f3 and then play chess. So if you play b5, amazing. Probably taking it is completely fine for white, no? And then c5, yeah, you just don't make the mistake and it'd be fine.
Yeah, I mean, probably you can go like. Actually, I do wonder though just how bad it really is, because I'm not sure that it's that bad. I mean, because if you get c takes d4, bishop b, this is interesting. I mean, white must be winning here, but without knowing it, I do kind of wonder if it's not a good trick idea. Although bishop c4 knight b, yeah, probably bishop c4 has to be winning for white. Because if knight b6, I assume you can take on f7 and take on c5, and the kings. I mean, this must be winning.
Yeah.
Right? Although I don't know, because bishop b7 hits g2, you can go e6 check, and if king e6, then you take, and you have queen g4.
I think for beginners, this is still, it's definitely one trick. Because the thing is, like,
yeah,
your one trick is that they take twice, and there's a chance that happens. There is because people really like to take stuff. So
that's true. Yeah. No, that's a good point. Exactly.
So I'm gonna say I'll still say one trick, but anyway, that's I've put it into one trick. Belgrade Gambit. This next one, Belgrade Gambit, is.
You mean Belgrade, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I've always said Belgrade, but that might be completely wrong. I think it's because in Russian that's how you say it.
There's an E on the end.
Yeah, but I think it's like the city is pronounced Belgrade because it's named after, or who knows, man. I don't know. We can rank my pronunciation of. But I like this one a lot. So this one is for white, and it goes. This is e4, e5, and then it's in the four knights, right? And then it's d4, pawn takes d4, and knight to d5 is what it is. Right,
and this has been played, I think, by a lot of strong grandmasters. Again, at the upper levels. Actually, I would say at the upper levels, even this is playable. It's just equal with blackness what they're doing, but it's not something where you end up in a lot of trouble, I would say. And at the beginner level, I mean, I think it's. I'll let you lead.
No, you can. I mean,
I think it's great. I think it's a great opening.
Primarily because in this position, black basically has like one way to equalize, or like two ways, right? And they're both very obscure. I think black has to go knight b4 or something, or bishop e7.
Bishop e7. Yeah, bishop e7 is the one that I know. But yeah, other than that, it's like it's very easy to end up in trouble very quickly if you don't know what you're doing.
Like here, and then either bishop d3 or queen e2, right? Like is the point, and then. I
think bishop d3 and castles, if I'm not mistaken. I thought. Although I could be wrong on this. I haven't looked at this in a long time. But I do know knight e4 is wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe even just queen e2, f5, bishop g5. Maybe it's even as simple as something like this.
Yeah.
In fact, this looks right, actually, because your queen is kind of trapped.
h4 and then long castle. So there's a lot of seriously like annoying and taking the knight right away. And basically, like, if you're sub 1500, you're not going to be thinking knight b4.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Or bishop
b7. Yeah, you're going to be, it's like, I'm up a pawn, what to do. It's just not, it's not a normal move. And even then, it's not so easy to play.
Well, then
still no more moves.
What do we rank it as? I'm gonna put it in very powerful, but it's the first candidate to go into unstoppable.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think it's probably very powerful, on the borderline of unstoppable for sure.
Okay, this next one.
Next one we have the Benko Gambit.
Yeah, Benko for the black pieces. D4, knight f6, c4, c5, d5, b5. Okay, my first instinct for under 1500, this is a terrible opening. but in the next episode, this is great. And the point obviously being that you sacrifice your queenside pawns and you get. But Hikaru, I just feel like this is so impractical, and if you learn this, you'll never get it on the board. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's always a big issue. Even sometimes, like, it's an opening I've considered in games like must-win situations. You really want to play it, and then after c5, your opponent goes e3 and laughs at you. There's like, yeah, where's your gambit? Or even knight f3 for that matter. It's the same thing where it's like they just play something that subjectively, I mean, it's very balanced, but they don't let you go into the gambit. So I kind of agree. I think the odds of getting it are very rare. And again, even if you do get it, there are a lot of really wild lines, like, for example, a6 f3 with e4. I mean, this wouldn't happen at beginner level, but there are lines like this, or, even something like takes and some knight c3 and a very early e4, e5. I think it's a little bit too hard to play as white.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to put it for this episode into total trash. I don't think it's not a bad opening, but I think it's completely impractical to learn it at this level, because this is never. You're never gonna get it. You're better off playing a Budapest or something that's a lot more forcing.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. At the beginner level, I think that's correct.
Even though at a higher level, it's perfectly good. This next one, Blackburne Schilling, also for black. It's in the name. Here, let me just clear our moves. We have a lot of moves. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4. Knight d4. The point being that you want this to happen. Knight e5, queen g5. You want this, check, back, mate. And Steven Adams tweeted at you once with this picture, the NBA player.
Correct. Yes. I think it's a power forward, or center. I think it's power forward for the.
Done.
Is he a power forward or is he a center?
I think he's a center, but I also don't. Is he still on the Thunder, or did he get traded?
I'm not sure.
He totally got traded. He doesn't play for the Thunder anymore. Pelicans, right? Pelicans. Yeah. So.
Oh, he plays for the. Oh, okay. So he plays for the New Orleans Pelicans. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'll let you. What do you think? What do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a one-trick pony for sure. Is it better than that? Probably not. Again, it's if white just castles, I think for a beginner, you're really going to struggle to finish your development as black. At the start of the game. So I don't know. I think I think to me it's a one-trick pony for sure. I don't think it's total trash, but I think like you need some luck.
I think it's a higher tier one trick, because it's, I think, a bit more natural than the Alekhines Gambit, the problem is, like, if white just takes your knight, for example, on move, what is that, 4? If white just takes your knight on d4, like, you will probably get blown off the board because you don't know how to.
Right, just castles in d3 and f4. Yeah, I mean, it's very hard. And a lot of beginner games I've noticed from PogChamps, when people play e4, e5, and they're very new, they have issues stopping the threats towards the pawn on f7 in particular. And in this case, like if you go knight f6, there's e5 right away, and you can end up in trouble immediately. If you play like bishop e7, there's like queen h5 or even queen f3. Like it's actually very dangerous.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's total trash, but I think it's definitely a one-trick pony for sure.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think it's a little bit too much. This next one though, I think is a very high tier one. And oops,
the Blackmar Diemer.
I just deleted the board, but yeah, it's for white. And is the move order d4, d5, e4?
I believe that is the main move order for this. Now, maybe it can occur in a different move order, but as far as I know, this is the main order. Yeah, and I mean, I think it can also occur like, I mean, I think you can also have like a bridge variation with knight f6, knight through d5, e4 takes and f3.
Yeah.
Or even like knight e4 takes and f3. But the main one is d4, d5.
So you can also, what's interesting is if you play e4, you could do this against anything with Caro Kann, for example, or even like you could throw in kind of a French, but the point is that like you're trying to sacrifice your e-pawn, develop the knight, and then gambit, the f-pawn. Sometimes you can even take with the queen. Queen is not recommended because there's a way for black to defend against it, but sub 1500, this stuff is murderous.
Yeah, I think it's very dangerous because the flow of the position with knight f3, just the quick development or knowing to go bishop f4, queen to castle, queen side. I think it's really, really good. Really, really good.
Man, I haven't thought about what on this list is going to be unstoppable, but I think the Blackmar Diemer might be up there because it can happen so easily and so naturally. I think it's the first unstoppable. But you could put it into very powerful. I think for me,
no, I think it's unstoppable based on the list that I see here. I think it's unstoppable for sure.
And then there's a few others that definitely will qualify. I mean, it's just and unstoppable just really means like you can generally get it more often than not, maybe 8 times out of 10 if you play with white and get good chances. Budapest Gambit. Have you played the Budapest Gambit?
I feel like the Budapest Gambit, I don't think I've ever. I might have played it once or twice.
So obviously, Gambit in the center. You have a choice of where to move the knight. Personally, I think knight g4 is a lot easier to play than...
Knight g4 is also a good move. Knight e4 is losing.
Okay, well, yeah,
There's a certain IM who refuses to play the correct line with knight g4. He keeps playing knight e4, hoping that like people don't actually study chess and don't play a3 and e3 because it's completely losing by force.
Yakov?
I mean, there's someone.
Oh, okay, I don't know.
It literally loses by force, but I still think he tries to play it.
Okay.
Anyway, knight g4 is the only one that's playable here.
I think that this is one that's easy to equalize because if white just takes and doesn't do something completely insane, like, you know, white has to really lose their mind completely to lose this game, to lose a game here. But
well, I think the thing is white just has to know to take and go like I mean, I think for like beginners, you just go knight f3, e3, and bishop e2, and it's not really gambit. Per se, which is why I think a lot of beginners, it's actually more suitable to play knight e4. Honestly, to play the Fajerowitz.
And you know, like the dark square attack with bishop c5.
Right, or even just bishop b4 with knight c6 and queen e7. So, I mean, the Fajerowitz is like variation is maybe, I think for beginners better. Again, I mean, playing it is very difficult. Knight g4 is probably easier to play. But I don't know. I mean, I'll let you say what you think.
Well, I think, I don't dare dabble in this. I've only ever played knight g4. I get decent positions, but actually the problem is that at 2600 blitz level, even a decent position in this is like still very depressing. It's very, you know, boring and dry. So I think if you play knight e4 and you're sub 1500, you can win some very nice games, especially if you study the tricks.
Correct.
Is it low tier tons of tactics or is it easy to equalize is the question. I'm gonna go with easy to equalize.
I agree. I completely agree. Yeah, because like there are tactics, but it's very limited. It's only if white makes certain blunders that it works.
Yeah, I think the difference with the Albin is that when you lose your center pawn, the first one we did, you plop the D pawn in the middle. You're not losing a tempo, and you can just kind of speed up development. So
right, exactly.
But it's close. They're obviously they're siblings. This next one, oh man, this
we
this is
have
a good one.
the Danish Gambit.
Yeah, you have a great in-depth video. E4, E5, and D4. Yeah, I'll let you lead because you just taught this to Negranu, so.
Well, yeah, Negranu was playing bishop c4. I mean, I think knight c3 technically is maybe slightly better at a higher level. But in general, I mean, I think the Danish is a great gambit. I feel like the Danish along with like the Smith Morra are two of the best sort of gambit openings that you can play as a beginner, just because it's very hard for black to respond due to the lack of development. You
know what I found out is against the Danish on move 3 for black, that one of the best moves is Queen E7, which is, I don't know if you know about Queen E7, but even with Queen E7, if you follow the main line, it's very difficult for black. So
yeah, but just to be clear, someone in my chat just said, "Oh yeah, this is just losing after 3 Queen E7."
Oh, no, it's really not. The point being that like after this, you play Bishop E3, and you know, good luck.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Like, you know, good luck dealing with this, man. Like this position is very dangerous for black.
Yeah.
Because white just holds everything, and it's one of these things where you can watch one YouTube video and try your best, but you're still going to get blown off the board on move 10 because you're
right, exactly.
So I'm gonna go with unstoppable. I think it's a high class.
I agree. Yeah.
You wouldn't have taught it to Negranu if it wasn't unstoppable. So
well, I mean, I think it's something that I think really gambits to some degree are fine. And there was a certain Swedish streamer who really likes gambits, but sort of gambits like the Danish, for example, or gambits like the Belgrade, they're, I think, relatively playable. Like you're down a pawn, but they're playable. But a lot of the gambits that another streamer was really interested in, they're kind of just losing if the opponent knows what they're doing. And so you really have to differentiate between what gambits are like maybe dubious but playable versus gambits where if someone knows what they're doing, you just lose.
Yeah. And the other thing is about E4, E5 is that, or D4, D5, which are two top openings are, you're going to get it on the board every time, like 80% of your games.
True, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Whereas the Benko is pretty impractical. The next one, the Elephant Gambit. So this one you're also probably going to get a lot, but there's a difference. E4, E5, Knight F3, and you have to play with black. You go D5. I'm not gonna lie. I actually think the Elephant Gambit is very bad. I think it's like I think you're gonna get it a lot, and I think you're gonna lose a lot, and you're gonna. What even is the trick of the elephant? Is it like this?
I think it's E4, but I was trying to play this in a view arena the other day, and I was very confused because after Queen E2, I wasn't really sure why this isn't just bad.
Oh, it's very bad. Yeah, it's terrible. Okay. It's atrocious. And then if white takes this way, you're supposed to, is it Queen F6 or Bishop D6 or something?
I assume it's Bishop D6 because Queen F6 is when you play the Latvian, which I'm sure we'll get to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's Bishop D6.
Yeah.
I think.
So Bishop
I mean,
D6
I think this one is okay for black, but the problem is if white takes on D5, I don't know what you do. Like, if you go E4, there's just Queen E2. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's Knight F6, D3, Bishop B4. No, something like C3 and castle.
Wow.
I mean, I don't even know, but like, yeah, I think it's very, very dubious, and I don't even see I mean, like, I don't understand where you even get any sort of tricks or play.
I have a very funny story about the Elephant Gambit. I had like a 700-800 rated student, like young kid, and I was teaching them the Elephant Gambit, like just to show them different gambits, like Latvian elephant. We played a chess.com game, and they immediately played a cheater who played Queen E2 and just destroyed, like, completely, and then was also cursing at them in a foreign language. And I've got very bad memories of this Queen E2 move just pinning, and of course if you take, there is Knight C3 and you lose. So I want to say total trash. The problem is that it yeah, you know what? Elephant Gambit is going into total trash.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I mean, I would like to put it higher or than that, but yeah, I think it's actual trash. But I don't. What is the picture? I don't understand. Those look like people. Those aren't elephants. What's that? Is that like a music cover or something? I'm a little confused.
Yeah, no, it's probably some like sort of like historical like art piece, and we're just very uncultured. I don't know. It's the White Stripes. Oh, it's the White Stripes.
No, I thought that might be the White Stripes, but they actually have an album titled "The Elephant."
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Well, this next one might not escape this category as well. D4.
Yes, we have the England, right? Yes.
Yes, the expedited Albin Countergambit. The one main trick of this.
Yes.
Being that after takes, knight c6, if white plays this to defend the pawn on e5 with bishop f4, you can go queen b4 check. Bishop d2.
Right, it's like a sun ray. It's just a sun ray.
And you just pray and hope that in this position, white plays bishop c3. So you could play bishop b4. They cannot take. If they take their bishop, you take with the knight. If queen d2, bang, bang, mate, and you go home feeling like a champion.
Okay.
I had a kid lose like this in the last round of the New York State Championship once. And we were competing for a top 5 prize, and he came back in 5 minutes. And I was like, oh my God, buddy.
Wait, he won or lost?
No, he lost. He lost with 1 hour on the clock. He fell into everything. He was very nervous. So I've got a lot of bad memories with these openings. I think this is a high tier 1 trick. I think you will win a lot of games with if it goes. But the problem is, I mean, Hikaru, they could just like go here or not play any of the other stuff. And
true. No, I mean, I completely agree. I would say in general, yeah, it's pretty bad. Pretty bad.
You could also watch the Eric Rosen video, which you talked about hoping for the trick. You seem pretty opinionated on the subject.
Yeah, I mean, I just think I don't approve of it. I mean, because the problem is like you sort of teach bad habits with this. Like a lot of people are gonna see it and they're like, oh, like it's really cool. But the problem is if someone doesn't take, literally they don't fall into it, you just lose the game. Like you just lose.
Yeah.
Tricks are always good, but when someone doesn't walk into a trick and you just lose by force, I'm not a fan of it.
You know, I got to tell you, the highest rated player I beat with this trick was in a 3-minute game, and they were rated 2,500. They were titled too. But you know how many people I've beaten in this position down a pawn? It's actually kind of embarrassing. I feel really bad because they're like 2,500. So don't play it. And definitely don't play it in anything more than 3-minute chess. Like, I'll say this. Don't do it. It's not gonna... It ain't gonna work. But would you say 1 trick is fair?
I think 1 trick is very fair. Yeah, I agree with that. It's definitely a 1 trick pony.
Because I feel like for the 1 tricks, it's like if you land the trick, you win the game. If you don't land the trick, you have a bad position. And for the other gambits, if they don't... Even if if they equalize, it's plenty of play. You could play, attack, a lot of creativity.
I agree with that, yeah.
Oh, this next one's a good one. The Evans Gambit. Any gambit in e4, e5. Any gambit in e4, e5. Of course, knight f3, knight c6. I love this move order because your options are black goes here or here. If knight f6, maybe you go for your super cheese, or you could play another gambit, but bishop c5 and b4.
Well, but I mean, d4 is not really gambit, is it? That's just. I mean, maybe is it on here? Scotch Gambit? I don't know. Anyway, let's keep going.
But the complex of gambits in e4, e5 is massive. So you can play a lot of really aggressive stuff. There's not really much else. I think this is unstoppable, and it's not even a conversation. I don't know. I think
I kind of agree with you. I agree.
So
I think you're absolutely right.
Like, they take, you play c3, d4. My only thing would be, would you recommend someone play the Danish or the Evans?
I like the Danish more because it's more to the point. It's more straightforward.
You don't...
For someone who's a beginner.
Right.
For someone who's a beginner, I think it's just like, there's a lot less to worry about. Like knight f6, queen e7 takes, that's about it. Because there's no guarantee you'll get the Evans. And so there's so much more you have to look at when you play the, when you play bishop c4 on move 3. Like, first, they don't have to play bishop c5. They can play knight f6. Secondly, I think you can even just play something like bishop e7 and knight f6. Even something like d6, I think is playable. So there's really no guarantee that you're going to get it.
Yep.
So I feel like it's great if you can get it as a beginner, but I think the odds of getting it are pretty low because I think most people are probably going to play knight f6 or something like d6.
Yeah. And also, there's a lot of beginners now who are like playing this in King's Indian or even h6 to stop this move. So you are definitely going to need to come up with something else.
Right,
so you'll
exactly.
have to pair it with something. Yeah, so I would say, but as far as like level on Unstoppable, where is it?
I think in terms of the level, I'm going to put it, I think it's third. It's the bottom one so far.
Okay.
It's bottom tier Unstoppable.
Okay. I'll agree. From Gambit. Ooh, From Gambit. That's a fun one.
I actually don't know what that is.
I think the From Gambit is when you have black, they play f4, and you play e5.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was from. Oh, it's from's? Okay.
It's probably not pronounced from.
I thought it was from's, like isn't there like a guidebook or something? From's travel guide? Maybe,
but to be honest, I mean, I even want to put this in Unstoppable because, first of all, why is your opponent playing f4, e5? I mean, why is your opponent playing f4?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Frommers. That's what I was thinking. Frommers. Yeah. That's why I got confused. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I really like this too. I think it's great. But go ahead.
It's the same concept, is that you're just, you're fighting against the weakened king. First of all, you'll remember my story from our other tier list episode of the Nationals games where a school for some reason was playing f4, so the other team prepared e5, and the kid lost like this. You remember this story?
Mm-hmm.
And then the next round they prepared the kid to take, and then the other guy played queen h4, g3, bishop e7.
Right.
Which is
and then he took, right?
Yeah, which is the most savage thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
So, well, don't take the queen if that were to happen. But yeah, I think the From Gambit is really good. I don't know, is it? I think it's very powerful, but you're not going to get it because not a lot of people play f4. So.
Right. Exactly.
Or is it one trick? Well, no, it's very powerful, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's?
I mean, I think what I would say, in general terms, I mean, is you're saying d6, right? Normally.
Yeah, d6. Yeah.
I mean, there's some whole theoretical discussion about this whole line. I think it's like g3, g4, knight h4, bishop e7, knight h2, h5, d4, h4, queen d3, and it goes on forever in the main line here. I mean, I think if you can get it, it's great. Will anyone ever play f4 on move one as a beginner? I mean, if you play f4 as a beginner on move one, I'm pretty sure you should get another coach, because no coach should teach a beginner to play f4 on move one.
That school, I hope, fired that coach, because I'm not gonna say names, but oh man.
But this wasn't your student, was it?
No, this wasn't my.
No,
it was a school that's pretty well known in New York City. So
okay, yeah, but I mean, yeah, just the notion of playing f4 on move one, I think frankly is insane. I mean, you should not play f4 on move one for many reasons, many reasons.
So probably put it in very powerful, and it could be your solution to f4. But you're probably just not going to face it very often. But
well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing. You're literally just not going to face it. Like, it's just not going to happen.
But if it does, you'll probably win a lot if you play this gambit. So
yeah, I think it's very powerful.
We'll put it there because you just keep this in your toolbox. I got a lot of requests actually to make a video about the bird opening, and I don't like why. Why do you all want to weaken your king on the first move?
I mean, it's playable, but unless you play like a Dutch, generally speaking, and of course Dutch even is pretty obscure across the board, then it's like there isn't really much of a point to it.
Halloween Gambit.
Yes, okay. Now we're getting to the real stuff.
Yes, this is the content right here. Let me just flip my board. You can walk us through it. The four knights. And
let me just
we gotta delete these moves.
Okay.
So e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6.
And is it knight e5 here, or is it knight c3?
No, it's knight c3, knight f6, and then you sack.
Right, because I think I did this against someone. I did this, and they're like, "Oh, this is the Irish Gambit," because in this one you give up a piece, and you're like, you forgot to play knight c3. You were doing something else. Yeah. So knight c3, knight f6. Yeah, knight takes e5, and d4. Yeah.
No, D3.
Sorry. I meant to go D4.
I know. D3 would be tragic. So Yeah, and then of course you do this. In some lines, like it's even okay for black to lose back the knight. You know, for beginners, this opening is actually like very strong. I'm already thinking tons of tactics or easy to equalize. I think it's easy to equalize more than tons of tactics, but I feel like when people get this on the board for white, they win a lot because black has no idea how to deal with, like, you know, this. All these
Yeah,
crazy...
yeah, it's very, very dangerous. Yeah, I mean, what do you think?
I'm gonna put it in tons of tactics. I think it's a very low tier tons of tactics. Yeah, here's my issue. I think you will get pretty good attacking positions below below 1100 maybe. Once you go a little beyond that, people are gonna start coming up with you know, more solid ideas, like maybe I don't know, bishop b4, just something kind of more solid. But I still think
for beginners.
Yeah, I still think your chances are there. I don't think this is that bad, honestly. I'm not saying you should play it, but if you do play it, I think you're actually going to be okay.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree.
It's kind of crazy. I'm advocating for an opening. You're voluntarily sacrificing a piece on move 4, but
by the way, I disagree with you on where it goes. You put in tons of tactics. I put it at the bottom of very powerful.
Wow, you put it above.
Yeah, I think it's a great opening,
especially for sub 1500.
I mean, because it's not just about tactics. I mean, you're just attacking. I mean, you're just attacking here. Just castles f4, f5, queen f3. Like your opponent has to know how to play in the center. Even d6, f4, like d, e, f, e. I mean, I think it's very powerful.
All right,
I mean, yeah. Now I'm gonna have to do a Halloween Gambit speed run or something.
Well, yeah, everything we put in the top, you know, you're gonna have to play in some sort of speed run, which would be
true.
No, but yeah, I think you'll show that there's a lot of potential. No, I can match it up. I can match it up.
All right. So next up we have the Icelandic Gambit.
Yeah, Icelandic Gambit is
I've heard of it, but I don't remember exactly what it is.
Hold on, I gotta look up the exact move order, actually.
Okay, yeah, I mean, because some of these ones, like I've vaguely heard of them, but it's like one of those things. Okay.
So it's e4, d5. So ed5, knight f6.
So it's like the Portuguese.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But against c4, you go. First of all, they have to go here, and then you have to play e6.
Oh yeah. This okay. Yeah. I remember. I think. Wait, but is e6 right or c6 right?
I think c6 is right, but I think what happens here is, like, you get this, but to be honest, what happens if they just go d4? Is this bad? Like some bishop b4?
I mean, I assume it's bishop b4, knight c3 castles. Idea to play rook e8 and bishop g4. Again, I don't know. This might actually be playable. But although after bishop d3, what is your next move? Because I'm just going to go knight e2 and I'm just going to castle.
And you can't take because bishop h7.
I mean, I feel like I looked at this. I think maybe it was like, sorry, now I'm going to go off on a rambling rant. But I feel like it was like in 99 or maybe 2000. I was playing the World Youth Championship. And someone played this knight f6. And for whatever reason, I was looking at c4. And then I think I looked a little bit at both c6 and e6 here. But I definitely remember c6 being better. And I think it's because of this. Because of like d4... like bishop b4, knight c3, and if like maybe there's queen e7 here, maybe that's what it was. But I know that there was some reason it was bad. So I mean, of course, it was like 20 plus years ago. But hey, like still, I remember it being bad then. So I don't think it really changed.
Well, the best thing that white can do after c6, like taking, is very bad because you just give away the d4 square and then black goes e5. But white can just turn this into a Caro-Kann and then. It's a mainline panoff. So
yeah, I'm 90 years old, you guys, in case you're wondering. That's why I remember things from 20 years ago. Anyway.
No,
I
like ed5, knight f6 so that you don't need to get your queen chased around, but I think it's very... Equalize is not even the right word. It's definitely easy to equalize, and it's probably just for white to get a completely normal position. So
yeah, I agree with that. It's beginner level, certainly. I think where would you put it?
I'm putting it just in like easy to equalize, just right next to Budapest Gambit.
I kind of agree. I think that's fair.
My logic being that even if white does completely normal stuff, which white will probably do, like,
yeah,
white is not. It's difficult to play gambits with black. Let's put it this way.
Agree.
Okay, Jaenisch Gambit. Ooh, this is a. I love the Jaenisch. So,
isn't it Jaenisch?
I don't know. Okay. So, I mean, it's also called the Schliemann. It's not even. Also, why is Northern Lion the icon for this?
Yeah, I was wondering why is Northern. Yeah, I just noticed that too. Why is Northern Lion?
So it's Bishop B5, the Ruy Lopez, and then F5, and the point being that you. I like it a lot. I think there's a lot of really creative attacking ideas. The problem is that in terms of practicality, below like 1500, this is highly like there's not a lot of people playing Ruy Lopez. And
yes, that's true.
But also Hikaru, like, white will go like D3, and you still have to play chess. It's not so simple. So I know it's not a great move, but you weaken your king.
I don't know. I mean, I have mixed opinions about this. I mean, like, I understand why you would play it. Again, I think at a beginner level, it's actually really dangerous. Again, when you push the pawn, and open up that D1 H5 diagonal. So I do think it's okay, but I think it's very dangerous because it relies on it relies on like playing it like you have to find precise moves. So at a beginner level, I don't like it. That being said, speaking of Northern Lion, since he is the picture for this opening, he is not a beginner. He's like 1600. At the intermediate level, it's already, I think, a lot different. So where would you put it?
Oh, I don't know. I think maybe we disagree. I think it's easy to equalize. I think you get a good position, but you have to play a full game of chess. You're not going to beat anybody out of the opening. So
yeah, I don't disagree because I don't think it's one trick because like it's something where you're not really hoping for like E takes F5 necessarily. It's not trash for sure. So I think it's probably bottom tier, easy to equalize for a beginner.
Yeah, I feel bad putting Northern Lion in easy to equalize, but
I do have one thing I want to say, which I thought was interesting. You said, now this is based obviously on your teaching, but you were saying that a lot of people do not play the Ruy Lopez.
Oh, at this level, no. I mean, I also just don't. I mean, if you're sub 1500, I don't even think you should be playing the Ruy Lopez. Like,
okay.
I think
no, I don't disagree with playing, but I thought a lot of people played it. Anyway, interesting.
No. First of all, at scholastic level, no way. But it also depends who you speak to. If you go to like a Maurice Ashley stream, he's very classical. Like he's like, you have to learn Ruy Lopez. You have to learn main lines. I think with adult learners, you don't need to learn the main lines. Like you can appreciate them and study those games, but chess has to be easy. It has to be like fun. And come on, who's going to be playing mainline Ruy Lopez? Like it's just.
That's true. No, that's a very good point. Yeah, that's a very good point.
I would never teach a kid the Ruy Lopez. Like, what am I going to do? Bishop A4, Bishop C2, C3, D4, like knight D2, knight F1, knight G2. Come on.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think for player, I think certainly beginner level, it's not the best opening for sure. Anyway, next up we have what?
That's Anya Taylor-Joy with a mustache. King's Gambit.
Okay, yeah. So we have the King's Gambit, right?
Wow. Okay. I'm very overdue for a good YouTube video on this. This opening, if you ever go to Wikipedia, look at how many subchapters of this opening exist and all their different names. My gut is tons of tactics, but it's really for both sides. If you're gonna play this with white, you should be ready to die by the sword.
Right.
I don't know. What are your thoughts? Especially if black plays like any move, like I don't know, D5.
Yeah,
D5.
I mean, I think at a beginner level, again, it's so dangerous. I just because again, black can play like Bishop C5, and as a beginner, what are you gonna do? I mean, you're probably gonna play F takes E5, and you just lose after Queen H4.
Yeah.
Likewise, there's also Knight C6, and again, if you're a beginner, you could very easily just take. And again, same thing, game.
Yep.
So I think it's very dangerous. I mean, I think it's actually, I'm just gonna say it's trash at the beginner level. I think it's too hard to play. It's just also because like even after Bishop C5, even if you know Knight F3, D6, again, you have to know how to build a center with like C3, D4.
Yep.
There's Knight F6 coming. This bishop is very strong. It's very difficult to play.
Yeah.
So I think at the beginner level, it's definitely trash, without a doubt.
I completely agree. And black can play a lot of normal looking stuff. Even if black takes, you're in some danger. So you really, let's put it this way: you've already made a very bold decision not to do this. So I think this is already, you lose some credibility. I agree. I don't think it's practical.
I pretty much agree with that. I think it's just it's insane. So yeah, it's just definitely trash to me.
It doesn't even get one trick because there's no trick. Like you have to still play 10 moves of normal stuff before you actually get to your position. So I don't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
And to be clear, you guys, we're talking about beginners. We're not talking just across the board. We're talking at the beginner level. At the intermediate level and the grandmaster level, it of course is much different.
Yeah, especially if you know the theory and everything. So compared to the other stuff on this list, I would not recommend it. Next one is Kloosterboer.
I have no idea what that even is. I assume that's a meme opening.
No, it's E4, D5, ED5, C6.
Oh, okay.
My gut is just easy to equalize. I mean,
it's definitely an opening that you can play in Bughouse, like, because if white takes, you get quick development with the knight and the bishop into the game. And normally, like, the theory is like knight f3, knight f6, knight c3, and then I think it's just like trades and you take with a pawn and bring the knight out very quickly. So like in Bughouse, I think it's a playable opening. But in regular chess, I don't know.
Well, of course, there is one point to this, and the one point is that you can take the center, and then if white really isn't careful here and plays like bishop c4, you can play e4 and get a very good position. That's the point. You kick the knight out, and you can play your chess. The issue is if white plays knight c3 and you play e5 and white just doesn't really let you go e4, or if white just doesn't even take your pawn, which I
can just play d4.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's a one-trick pony.
I think the problem is with
trash.
Really, I was gonna say easy to equalize because it's not losing, right? It's not outright losing.
It's not losing. What do you mean? If I take and I go knight c3, e5, and knight f3, and it's not just losing?
I don't think it's as losing as the other ones in one trick. That would be my argument. Like Englund Gambit is straight up losing. I mean, this is like you're down a pawn. I feel like you can still make a comeback. I mean, in the Blackburne Schilling, you're literally dead lost, no? If they don't play into your gambit. So.
In the Blackburne Schilling, probably.
I just don't think it's going to be so bad. I feel like if you play, like you'll see in your speedrun, you'll play this. And...
I think I'm gonna put it as a one-trick pony. For me, it's a one-trick pony.
Okay. I'll put it in the bottom of easy to equalize. That's what I'll do. I'm not ready to put it in the same category. Somewhere Kloosterboer is rolling in his grave. Like, how dare you? Or unless Kloosterboer is still alive, in which case that's embarrassing.
Probably not.
All right, here it is. You talked about this. This is the opening you taught to Swedish Grandmaster Forsen.
The Latvian Gambit, yes.
E4, E5, knight F3, F5. I'll let you take the floor. I don't know much about this, actually. I know it's not great, but only if you're prepared.
Oh, I mean, I think when I was younger, there was this guy. Actually, you probably know who he was. I think his name was James West. He was like a master.
Oh my God, the Philidor Countergambit.
I mean, he played. I think he played both. I think he played D6, D4. I think he played this one for sure against me. But I think he also played this too. There was another guy. I forget his name around master who used to always play this. Maybe it was Karklin's actually. I think it was Andrew Karklins who or not Andrew, sorry, Eric Karklins who used to play F5. So yeah, it's a tough opening. I mean, certainly those are players who are very, very strong. I think at the beginner level, it's very risky though, because as I saw with Forsen, when his opponents played D3, or even when they just took on E5 and played D4, it's very hard. Even if you know the right line with D6, knight C4 takes, knight C3, to go queen G6, and then even know that after knight D5, I think king D8 is the right move here. It's very, very hard to play. Very, very hard to play. So to me, it's just trash. Just trash. There's nothing more for me to say.
Fair, yeah. I think it's. I mean, if the king's gambit isn't trash, I feel like with black weakening your king that early is. Now you're gonna get some comments like, well, why did you show it to? I think Forsen just really wanted to learn gambits. So
yeah, he wanted, but I mean that also comes back to the point I was saying about gambits. I mean, first of all, I think one thing that's great is at that level, trying to play gambits is, I think, how you should be playing the game. You should be trying to play open positions in the spirit of the game, rather than something that's like very technical and requires a lot of knowledge. So I think playing gambits, especially like Negreanu also says, where like he just wants to have fun and he wants to play gambits, I think it makes a lot of sense. But there's a fine line between which gambits you can really play and which gambits just get you into a lot of trouble. But again, I would also argue it's not our place to tell like anybody what to play or what not to play. If they want to enjoy the game, they certainly should play what's going to make them happiest.
Yeah, I agree. What this is? What the heck is this?
The Lisistyn, one of my favorite. This is actually great. Yeah,
this is a great gambit. You want to show
F3?
It? Yeah,
sure. So it's knight f3, f5, d3.
No.
Yes.
No. It's e4. It's e4.
Oh, sorry. I have the other line.
I think knight f3, f5, e4 immediately is Lisistyn Gambit.
Oh, so I play the correct
you play the correct one. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it says in the at the top, it says the deferred Lisistyn Gambit.
Yeah.
So I think it kind of transposes. Yeah, because e4 is not the correct order, I don't believe. If I'm not mistaken, right?
It's just I think e4 black can equalize. So black takes, and then after knight g5, knight f6, like d3. I think there's some way. So I think e5, d5 some way. I've faced this sometimes, but
I had some game against Duda where I think I beat him in like 10 moves or something. It was ridiculous. I think it was something like takes d5, knight h7. I think he just resigned like in a couple of moves.
Oh my god! Because of this, you have queen 8. You have
some
sort of mate.
I think you have check here, check, and then mate. Yeah.
Oh my god! Wait, you have an even faster one. You can go here.
Oh, you can check here and take. Yeah, true. Yeah, I had some game against Duda that was really, really gross. I think it was like in St. Louis, and he was just like lost after like 10 moves. It was really, really disgusting. But yeah, see, so like I play the correct one because this, of course, I don't believe this order is correct with the e4 on move 2. I'm not sure why, but generally speaking, it's not correct.
I do this. I do take, and I think c6, d5.
The fact that you even look at this level.
Well, I play the Dutch, so I have to. I play knight f3, f5, so.
Yeah, but if you play the Dutch, yeah, that's true because someone could play this order. Because again, I only look at the correct order d3 because the e4 is not correct.
I stopped playing in classical. I stopped playing f5. In blitz, it's like whatever, but in classical, you had a very bad game against Belarus, who just completely killed me. I played like this. So this system is This is just it's bad for black.
Well, the correct way against d3 lobby, just to give you a little
knight
bit of
c6?
a lesson, is play knight 6, e4, e5, and kind of turn it into a sort of like a king's gambit reverse.
Yep, this is what I started doing recently in blitz. I don't.
Oh, recently, okay. I remember the first time I looked at this because I was one of the early pioneers in the Dutch defense. Like when it sort of got resurrected at the higher level, like in like 2000 and I think it was like 2007 already. 2007, 2008, I was starting to look at the Dutch already, and I was looking at the Lisistyn Gambit because I was trying to find something, and I think my conclusion even back then was like knight c6 and e5 was best. And even to this day, when I have occasionally played the Dutch and people play d3, e4, I still play knight c6, e5. So it is the best way to play against it.
And no one here will play the ultra critical.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you can play d4 obviously. But
yeah, well, no, I'm just saying, like, I get this, and I've never faced, I'll play,
because, of course, yeah, I mean, come on, Levy, this is old news. I was looking at this, like, 12 years ago.
You know what's crazy about that? In the database, this is still not popular. Like, knight c6 is, not a lot of people play this, this way, with e5. Oh, and also there's this. There's the immediate one, but then you can play, like, just...
Yeah, I mean, actually, there have been some games with something similar to this. I feel like maybe not out of this order, but there have been some games where people have played this. But I think when you lose a tempo, you get like a favorable structure, but it's playable for black.
I think it's very easy to play.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. So where would you put it?
I think this is a very powerful gambit for white. If you play knight f3, first of all, if you play knight f3, I don't know how much f5 you're gonna get, but I think it's very powerful. I think it's kind of like
if you get it, if you get it, because like again, if you're, but you know, I feel like playing the Dutch with black. I understand coaches teaching the Dutch. Coaches teaching f4 on move 1, I think is very dubious. Right. But teaching students to play the Dutch against like d4, knight f3, or c4, I think is very reasonable.
Yeah.
That being said, it's not going to happen much, but if it does, I agree. I think it's very good. So knight f3 isn't knight f3 kind of like a very high class opening move?
Yeah, it is, because the best move doesn't weaken the position at all. So you know, no, nothing is weak. So
right, you don't weaken your pawns in the center by pushing them.
Yeah. So
right.
Ooh. Well, I put it in very powerful. This next one, Milner Barry, you like this, right? You talked about Milner Barry before.
I'm missing the joke. What's the joke about this picture?
Is this like a character in a show?
Is this like StarCraft or not? Sorry, is this like Star Trek or something? I don't know. What's the joke? Barry is a show. Oh, Barry is a show. Okay. Oh, it's all right. Okay. Yeah, Barry is a show. Yeah.
So, Milner Barry. The one problem is that it's a very theoretical line. It's in the French defense. You have to play e5. They have to play c5, c3, knight c6, knight f3, queen b6, which is a main line, and then here you abandon defense of this, kind of, with bishop d3. Point being that
so you pretend to hang a pawn, right?
Yeah, and then there's bishop b5 check at the end, and you would be picking up,
yeah, it's just a clean fossil. Pick up the queen on d4 because the king is in check.
I think this actually also belongs in very powerful, because it's, even if you don't get
normally it goes bishop d7 to be clear. And now I'm going to give another story. So this is probably something you also have heard of, but basically when I was much younger, there used to be tournaments at the Long Island Chess Club in Long Island, and it is a gambit, you guys, because you give up the d4 pawn. Like, you're like, oh, it's a temporary one trick, but then you actually give away the pawn where black can take, because there's no check on b5 here. So you do, in fact, do a gambit. You gambit pawns. So, like, when I was very young, I used to play a lot of tournaments in Long Island, and my stepfather was my main coach for a long time until I got to master, and he sort of taught me to play the advanced French. And there was this one guy, his name was Harold Stenzel, who I'm sure you know him, and he's an organizer now, doesn't really play chess, obviously, but I remember like in the late 90s, like my stepfather and I would always like play against him, and normally after this move rook e1, black's up 2 pawns here. And black's supposed to play queen b8 takes and bishop d6, gambit 1 pawn, but he can finish development and castle the king. But this guy the Stenzel guy would always play this move queen to d6 here, trying to hang on to the 2 center pawns and not give it up. And so now that we're just looking at this, it reminds me of that, because like probably in like 96, 97, 98, these early years of my chess career, I remember having to face this a lot.
But you probably liked your positions.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's bad for black objectively, trying to get greedy and hang on to the 2 pawns. There's knight b5. There's also queen f3 and bishop f4. So yeah, I do. I think it's pretty good for white.
Would you say tons of tactics or very powerful?
I'm
gonna say tons of tactics, just because, again, I think it's a tier below the other ones. The other ones are far more practical. Well,
yeah, I agree totally. Yeah, although I think we're gonna be seeing a lot of Frenches in PogChamps. We already did, like Hoffu took up the French, for example. So I think we're probably going to see a lot.
Yeah, there's plus tons of tactics, a little bit thin right now. So
yeah, no, I think it's definitely tons of tactics. I agree with that. So next up we have
Nakhmanson. Just before we get into this one, I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick. Do you know the Nakhmanson Gambit? This next one. This is.
I mean, I know of it because like everybody's spoken about it lately. Yeah, that's Jonathan. That's that guy in St. Louis, the master,
Mr. Schranz. E4, E5. Let me see if I remember. So bishop c4, knight f6, d4. They take. You castle. They take.
And then you go knight c3. Yeah. Because I remember, like, it's crazy how chess evolves. Because I think. When I was doing preparation for the 2003 United States Chess Championship, I at the time I was only playing Sicilian, but I knew probably 2 or 3 weeks in advance of the event that in my first round I was going to be playing against Jennifer Shahade, the former U.S. Women's Champion, who does a lot of commentary in St. Louis. And against her, actually, I'll just give you this. This ties into something else, but I didn't really play E5, so I started preparing for her. And the two things I know she really played was she could play the Spanish. I was actually going to play the Jaenisch with F5. And the other thing I noticed was that she could also play this sort of Scotch Gambit with like Rookie 1, D5 takes Queen D5 and Knight C3, which is also very playable, by the way.
Yeah.
But I remember like I was analyzing this, so it's amazing to think how this Knight C3 move was never a move in history until very recently, right? Until Jonathan Schrantz did something on it. So it's very creative. It's one of the most brilliant things that I've seen that is not directly related to like, a computer chess game. I assume that he looked at it with computers, but I don't think this was derived from a computer chess game. So
yeah, and the main line, there's a ton of stuff on YouTube, and the biggest thing here is that in all this stuff you have to remember that so obviously there's King 8 and King F6. I don't remember which one is losing, or I think maybe even King F6 is okay. It's amazing. I think it's a fantastic opening. I mean, even computers going 15, 16 moves in don't know what's going on, so a human will never know what's going on.
Right.
It's excellent. But the problem is you have to study it. So,
But I think it's very realistic to expect. Again, I could argue you could actually build your repertoire with this. Like you could build a repertoire with like the Evans Gambit, the Nakhmanson Gambit, and then you could also build a repertoire. Well, I guess you would have to look at H6, but as a beginner, I think it's actually very realistic to play the Evans Gambit in conjunction with the Nakhmanson Gambit.
Yeah, because also as you get better, you're gonna face stuff that looks more normal more often, and you'll also memorize stuff easier. So,
right. Exactly. Yeah.
And okay, totally. There's already a course apparently on this, so that means that it's a really no BS opening. So is it unstoppable then?
I think for me, I think it's unstoppable. Yeah, I think it's the bottom of unstoppable. I think it is for sure. Yeah, well, I agree.
Congratulations to Mr. Nakhmanson, who made it to our top tier. This next one is great. Orthoschnapp.
What is the Orthoschnapp? I'm sorry, I have no idea.
So it's E4, E6, C4, D5, and then CD5, ED5, and Queen B3.
I didn't know this had a name. Okay. Yeah, I mean, of course I've seen this. The first time I saw this was when Forsen wanted to play this against Hafu in PogChamps.
He should have.
Well, no, he did, didn't he?
I don't know, maybe.
I'm pretty sure they actually played this. Maybe. Yeah, they did. They played this in their second game of their match. And I mean, he lost, but he did play this.
And he got a good position, yeah? Or
I think he was winning. I think he was winning at one of the moments. Yeah. Although I saw this being played the other day as well, much to my disappointment, by this Norwegian guy.
Lars
Hogg. Yeah.
Yeah. He played it, and there's a lot of actually kind of like interesting lines. So obviously the point is
the fact that it's losing. Yeah.
Yes.
Other than that.
No, but the thing is, no one will know that. They won't know how to,
As a beginner, yes.
Yeah.
But to see an IM play something that's losing, like just losing, is just disgusting.
But he was beating her, like he was getting winning positions from the opening, like it was crazy. I
think he was losing for a move or two, and then she just blundered. But anyway, then again, when you play this, you're probably always losing for a move or two.
Yeah. So, but what actually is the line after this for black to be better? Is it Queen E7?
I think it's Queen E7, isn't it? Because it's like D3, you go Queen B4. I'm pretty sure it's Queen E7 with Knight C6.
Yeah, and the difference is that if this like you open it all up, and this is actually good for white.
This, I think, this is already very dangerous, but I think also can't you go Knight C6 here with Knight A5?
Yeah, basically you have to, like, it's a balance of a few weird moves with purpose. Like you're trying to trade the bishop, and then if you can trade this bishop, then you're much better. So. Yeah,
exactly.
Black has to know this, but I would say tons of tactics. This doesn't deserve to be in the same league, but I think that Plus,
Oh yeah, as a beginner, it's I think very, very tricky. Very, very tricky.
the other thing is like someone could just like play c5, and now, like, where's your gambit? You're never gonna ever.
True. Yeah, now you just have to play a Sicilian. Although it's a good Sicilian. Although not really, because Wesley lost in this to me. But hey, who's counting?
Well then, you know, I'm gonna put tons of tactics. Feels a bit barren in tons of tactics.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree. Sure. All right, so next up we have the Portuguese Gambit.
Well, we already kind of had this, no?
A little bit, yeah, pretty close. So takes knight f6, and is it d4 bishop g4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. You've probably played. I don't play this too often with black. I feel like. Have you played it? I don't know.
With black? No, I've never played this with black. No, I've always played the traditional Scandinavian with queen d5.
Queen d5.
I mean, I'm more a fan of Scandinavia than I am of Portugal. Let's be honest. Anyway,
the point here is you're really trying to instigate. I played this against Canty actually because I saw that he played the wrong move in the database, and it just gave me. He just gave me this, and even this is fine for white, but I was like, okay, this is kind of easy to play with black.
True, yeah.
But this is the critical.
Yeah, like this whole line. I mean, again, I think in 1998, I was there's someone in the World Youth Championship. I think again, or 90. Was it 98 or 99? There was someone who was always playing this. I forget who it was, and so I actually looked at this quite a bit. But I thought at the time I thought it was bad, but it required precise play.
I think for this level, you will never face this. Having said that, I think.
True.
Is there tons of tactics? I mean, not really, no.
But I mean, I think it's very hard for white. I mean, if you get this position after g4 and someone's a beginner, I mean, like, forget about it. Yeah. Forget about it. With all these pawns out pushed, like no development, you're just gonna lose as a beginner. So I mean, it's kind of interesting. I think it's probably easy to equalize to me, just because I think most people play like bishop e2 or knight f3, and it'll just reach some sort of normal middle game position.
Yep. Very simple. It's just white doesn't have a huge amount of landmines to walk through here, so I think it's just kind of plopped in there. Okay, this next one. Do we even have to look at the Queen's Gambit?
I don't think we even need to look at it. I think it's again just probably it's a game, right? Easy to equalize.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm gonna. It's not an unstoppable gambit. It's it's not a guaranteed advantage for white, and also you don't win if they take it, or it's very good. But
right. Well, I mean, as players who are newer to the game, you just play e6. You just play the Queen's Gambit declined and just go knight f6. Probably the most stable opening and outside of maybe the Rui Lopez, I would say. In modern chess.
On the tier of gambits that are very dangerous but also very practical, it's very practical, but it's not very dangerous. It's just an opening. So, definitely easy to equalize. There's not even tons of tactics. It's just a good opening, but it's not winning from the get-go.
Agreed.
Scotch Gambit. Scotch Gambit.
One second, let me just put this in here. Yeah, Scotch Gambit. Yeah, so the Scotch Gambit, another opening that I remember have a lot of fond memories of. Knight c6. Is it d4 bishop c4, or is it bishop c4 knight f6 d4?
No, it's
or is it different?
It's d4 takes bishop c4. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So another opening that like I didn't actually play. I would credit my stepfather because he did not actually show me this one. He just said play the Scotch, because it's just more open. Whereas he always played the Scotch Gambit, which is I think a great opening at the beginner level, because after knight f6 e5, black has to know to play like d5. Like it's very hard to play, or like bishop c5 c3 for example, and then like takes I guess is playable with like bishop f7. But again, I think at the beginner level it's reasonable. I think it's very reasonable. Actually who should have played it was XQC. He should have played Scotch Gambit instead of the Scotch, I think.
Yeah. Just get development. You don't necessarily need to take your pawn back.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because also then like Scotch Gambit, you can then castles and go into the Nakhmanson as well.
Yes.
Like there's so many options for what you can do with the Scotch Gambit. It's so flexible here.
Very powerful or low tier unstoppable?
I mean, I think it's very powerful. I would say. I mean, because there's also the Max Lang, right?
Yeah,
But
like some bishop c5 with d4. Isn't that?
yeah, is bishop c5 castles a max link?
I
don't remember what the max link is. It calls this the Haxo, but I think chess.com has some of the openings wrong. For sure.
Haxo?
Like
what? Yeah. I think that in general, most gambits with d4 somewhere along the line, it's gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also because like if bishop b4, then you play c3, and it's kind of like it turns into something similar to a Danish Gambit as well. Like there are just so many things that I really like about just this order as well. So to me, I mean, I think it's
Very powerful.
It's yeah, I think so. I would say. I mean,
I think yeah, I would agree.
Yeah,
from Gambit is up there. Lisistyn. There's a lot of stuff. It's very high tier. I would say it's very high tier, very powerful.
Mm-hmm. I think it's very powerful. I think it's not at the top, but I think it's probably the second one.
Okay, so this next one. So we put that one there. The next one
we have Agent Smith, the Smith Morra. Smith Morra.
Well, what to say? I mean, Sicilian, and you make them play your game. I don't know. I don't think there's much more to say. I think it's just a very good opening. Very good opening.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would actually say if you're a beginner and someone plays this and you play Sicilian, I think you should actually just go d3. Yeah. Just ignore it.
Yep.
That's what I say. Or you can do what I did when I was very young. Like I remember I would always take and play like knight c6, knight f3, and then I think I would always play this line with d6, bishop c4, e6, castles, knight f6. I mean, you can also play like this, just straight development with like a bishop with like bishop e7 and castles, and then e5 at the right moment. But I actually think if you're a beginner, you should kind of just ignore it with d3 if you can, because it's simple.
This is what's going to make this opening tons of tactics for me rather than unstoppable, is that big difference with the Danish is that someone in this opening blindly copying you will see this bishop.
Right.
And they'll just block it. And I think that kills so much of your ideas. Like, you don't get anything on this diagonal, and then if black just plays sensibly, black can get a decent position. I think that the difference with king's pawn gambits is because the pawn always ends up on e5. Your bishop is so powerful.
This diagonal. Yeah, exactly. Diagonal's always open. Agreed.
Yeah.
Totally.
So I'm going to put it in the very top of tons of tactics, but just because...
Oh, I agree.
It could be a very powerful, but I also kind of want the tier list to look aesthetic. Tons of tactics is very barren, so...
yeah.
And very powerful will get a lot more, because I think we're about to get... We're about to get a few.
I'm sorry. What is this picture of Eric Rosen? What is this picture?
I think they did our boy dirty, man. They picked the worst photo of Eric Rosen on the internet. Is that even Eric Rosen?
No, that is Eric Rosen. But I mean, it's like,
that's like teenager just getting facial hair, but no one had the shaving talk with you yet. You know?
Yeah.
Oh man, Jaren, why did you get that picture? Okay.
Oh man, yeah. Wow. Okay.
Stafford Gambit, with e4, e5, and then knight c6.
Correct.
If this was a couple months ago, I would put it at the very top. But I don't even think it's a one trick. I think it's just easy to equalize. But I could put it in the bottom of tons of tactics, because there's really one line, for white, right? It's like...
Yeah, but again, like the thing is, didn't David Pacman play this against like Hafu? And I mean, the thing is, if white plays h3 and stops knight g4, you just resign, basically. I mean, you just lose, right?
Yes, and even if you study some of the lines, I don't know if it's h3 or like bishop e2 or so. I think in this variation there's this, so you have to be a little careful. But even I don't.
Wait, what? And if I take?
Yeah, there's some like something stupid. Like
I see. Okay.
For beginners, you have to be a little careful, a little bit, with some.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, again, though, what I would say is, I remember when I saw that game, like the way that Hafu just got a winning position, like just playing just sort of thematic moves, just kind of basic, just obvious moves, stopping the threats. I just think for a beginner, there's just no way to to get a good position.
Plus, I think a lot of people just play like this, or
also true. You just ignore it completely. Yeah, very true. Very true.
This. But I'm sure people in the chat have a sample size of a lot of Stafford games, and they probably win a good amount of them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. If someone says, "Can I play the correct Stafford?" Oh, is this order wrong?
No, this is completely right.
This is okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure. Someone just said, but then it isn't Stafford.
That person needs to go watch a YouTube video.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So where would you put it?
I think the other gambits and very powerful aren't objectively losing. That's the problem. Like the Stafford is objectively it's lost.
It's just losing. Yeah.
So I'm gonna put it into tons of tactics, but I'm gonna put it
higher.
I'm gonna put it.
I'm gonna put it lower personally.
Yeah,
but...
I think the problem is that objectively speaking, it is flat out losing. All the other stuff is not losing.
Right. Agreed.
Eric, we love you. Also, I didn't pick that picture of you, so please don't hate me. Hey, Jaren, that's a... okay, yeah. Staunton Gambit.
Yeah, Staunton Gambit, right.
Staunton Gambit. I love this. I love D4. F5, E4.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll give... Now it's story time again. So I played E4 my entire career. So from the time I started playing chess in 1997 till about the time that I was about 2400 level international master, I always played E4 on move 1. That's all I did. Just E4, nothing else. But when I played this tournament, the Pan American Championship under 20 in Bolivia in La Paz, I believe in 2000 and was it 2003? I want to say it was, or 2002. Anyway, during that tournament, I actually started learning how to play D4 on move 1, and there were a couple of American players who would always play the Dutch defense. So I kind of what I learned was just to play E4 takes and go knight C3, knight F6, and bishop G5. And this was my main opening against the Dutch, because at that time, other than players who were like 2400 plus, nobody knew to play knight C6 here. Knight C6 is the best move by far. Everything else I think is actually generally really, really bad for black.
Yep. All those lines like E6 and G6, I feel very confident. You said knight C6 is the best?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. I had a Dutch book like 4 or 5 years ago, and it was like, knight C6, and then you just have to basically remember queen D4 and queen E2, and the two lines. I play queen E2 with white, and sometimes queen D4, but
I mean, it's very sharp. It's not clear cut. But if black does not play knight C6 here, after bishop G5, it's just lost. And there's that famous game, right? The Edward Lasker game, with like takes, and like bishop D3, knight F3.
Yeah, even like a worst case scenario, you get a completely great position. It feels like.
How does that Lasker game go? It was something like, what was it? Was it like?
I don't know.
There's that. It was not Emmanuel. It was the other one. Let me find it, because I'm pretty sure it was a Staunton Gambit, unless I'm mistaken. Let me see. Let me pull it up. Yeah. So, it was out of a different order, but it was the same thing. So the game it actually was a Staunton, but it came from a different order. It came from it was like D4, E6, knight F3, F5, knight C3, knight F6, bishop G5, bishop E7, takes E4. But it did turn into this, and it was like B6, knight E5, castles, bishop D3, bishop B7, queen H5. This is a beautiful game. I'll just show it for you guys because it's really nice. It's queen takes H7. Queen takes H7. Yeah. Takes. King can't go back. So it's checkmate with the two ponies. They cover the squares. So you go king H6, check here, check here. Or not H3, sorry. You go check, king F4, G3, king F3, check here, and castles.
Wait, I've never even seen this game. What? Wow.
What? No, there's no way you've never seen it.
I've never seen it. I've spent my entire childhood playing 3-minute blitz on the Internet Chess Club. I've never seen this.
I mean, I didn't actually know I didn't know the name. I didn't know actually the players of this game until very recently, when someone pointed it out to me. But yeah, this is, oh my God.
No, I've never seen this. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, this was Edward Lasker, not related to Manuel. This is Edward Lasker against Sir George Thomas.
He wasn't a sir after this game. Oh my! Well, and not in like the, like that way. I meant like in the he got unknighted or whatever for losing a game like this.
Right.
They were like, we taking that title away from you. Oh
yeah,
wow.
no, but I remember that game because it kind of transposed. It didn't start out as a Staunton Gambit, but that's why like when you play when you play a Staunton Gambit, this whole line with Bishop G5, if they go E6, you get that same position with takes and knight F3, and it's basically like just a great version of like a French almost, except the pawn is here, not F7. So it's really, really good for white.
Well, going back to D4, F5, E4, I think if the from gambit it's just the from gambit except you're playing white is really what it is.
Basically, yeah.
And of course, just the one kind of whole point of all this, why black can't just hang on to this, is because Bishop F6 and Queen H5 check. And
if you take, you go check. Classic, kind of like the half sun or the two-thirds sun ray with Queen D5, and now white's just winning.
Top tier, very powerful.
I think for me, I think it's probably I think it's probably unstoppable. I think it's unstoppable. Again, you're not going to get it that frequently because not many people are going to play the Dutch, but it's definitely unstoppable.
Okay.
And besides, they also make the best. Besides, it's Staunton. They also make they like literally make the best chess pieces.
Yes, they are named after. Staunton, it's of course named after Howard Staunton, right? I'm assuming. So okay,
yes.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Tennison.
All right. Is that Draco? Who's this? Is that Draco?
Yeah, I thought it was, but I didn't understand. I don't know why it's. I don't know.
Who is that?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I'm seeing my chat. I'm waiting for my chat to tell me who it is.
Yeah, we usually have some sort of detectives. Lord Tennison?
No, it's not Malfoy, so I don't know who it is. I mean, it's not a blonde Dubov either. That's for sure. Ben 10. Who is Ben 10?
Well, I can show what the Tennison Gambit is. After e4, d5, white plays knight f3, or knight f3, d5, and e4. Are you aware of the intercontinental ballistic missile variation?
I mean, but that's just a meme off a YouTube video, right?
Correct.
It's not an actual game. Yeah.
Correct. The ICBM after takes, here you go for the pawn, and here the gambit, rather than going knight c3 to win the pawn back, you play the move d3. Black doesn't have to take.
I mean, doesn't bishop c4 just equalize?
Bishop c4 is also a good move. Yeah, bishop c4 is completely fine. I'm just going to show the ICBM. The trick is that if they take and you take with the bishop and they attack your knight.
Right, yeah,
Kaboom.
knight f7 and check. Yeah.
Yeah, bishop
and
g6.
You just win the queen.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yep. I gotta tell you, I've been playing this gambit, and I get some pretty fun positions, even with the fact that you can equalize with black.
Well, I would assume e takes d3 is actually.
It's wrong.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks very wrong. Like you're just gonna castle, go queen e2, rook d1, and play in the center, and you've got this bishop and the knight developed right away. So it actually, yeah, if black takes, that's fine. Of course, black can also just play h6 and laugh at you, and you play a very boring endgame.
Yeah. So I've had that happen. I've also had I've had like c6. Now you're in a Karo Khan.
True. Good point. Yeah.
Oops. So they could play like French. I think it's easy to equalize, but there are some tactics.
Yeah. No, I kind of agree with that. Yeah.
I think it's very easy for black to just not engage with you.
Right. Agreed. Totally.
So, but there's a big trick. Urusov. Do you know the Urusov Gambit?
The Urusov. Okay. So what are we putting it in first?
I put it in easy to equalize with black.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Okay. So then we have the Urusov. I've heard of it, but I'm not 100% sure what it is.
So the Urusov Gambit exactly, I'm actually looking up the exact move order because they all have. Oh, okay. So it's e4, e5, bishop c4, knight f6, d4.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Of course. Obviously, yeah. It's completely fine. This is the Urusov, you guys, not the Urusov. It's the Urusov.
Yes, not the U.
Yeah. Okay.
Urusov. Okay.
Okay. Let me. Okay. All right.
Good. Very good. Tons of tactics.
I think it's what I would say is now my chat's going insane. I think it's very good.
Oh, you could also get it in a Petrov, I guess, because if you play knight f3, knight f6, some sort of like I don't know.
No, but d4 is a different one. Oh, d4 takes bishop c4, true.
And then it can become the Nakhmanson. They're all kind of related.
Yeah, I mean yeah, like knight c6, and then exactly, it's the Scotch game or like the Max Lang or a Nakhmanson. Yeah, it's all kind of the same thing. So yeah, the whole thing is, yeah.
Does it belong in Unstoppable then?
I
feel like we're diluting.
Yeah,
the word.
I think it's definitely, yeah, maybe, why not? Okay. I think it's unstoppable. Okay, so then we have we have the Vienna Gambit. That picture looks familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's off Twitter. That's baby Gotham at his first chess tournament.
Wow. Your parents took a picture of you at your first chess tournament?
Yeah.
Nice.
Actually, technically, my dad was behind me, but he's cropped out because my face didn't fit, I guess. But okay. So someone else.
Nice.
Yeah, this was in the Susan Polgar Chess Club in Forest Hills, Queens.
I think I was there. I think I went there one time. Like, how long was it around? It was around in
January 2003.
Right, but when did she close it?
This I don't know.
Okay, because I mean, it was still open to like 2006 or something. I know I went to some club that she had somewhere in New York early in the 2000s or like mid 2000s. But anyway, all right. Okay, so next up we have the Vienna. So e4, e5, knight c3. I'll let you take it away because this is you've done a lot of videos on this.
Yeah, well, the Vienna Gambit specifically is like it's this, and I mean, to be honest, of all of the gambits, it's the least deserving to be called a gambit because they can't actually take the pawn. They take the pawn, they just straight up lose. I think every single gambit in this list is actually legitimately offering something. So it's kind of a fake name.
Well, but at the same time, if they play knight c6 on move 2, you can't play f4 because after e takes f4, they do accept the gambit and you just resign.
Yeah, so against the Max Lang,
this isn't the Max Lang.
Yeah, but I think knight c6 f4 is a little bit different. But I think in general, if you're gonna play the Vienna, I mean, what can I say? I've said enough about it. It's something I recommend to a lot of people. I think a lot of people also found a lot of success with the Vienna if they're not going to play knight f3 systems. So it's unstoppable, and for me, it goes right in the top, and I don't even have to ask any questions. So
I'm going to put it in very powerful.
Okay. Yin to my yang. That's okay. So people like will win 45% of games with knight f3, but once they switch to Vienna, they'll be winning like 60-65. Now, obviously, as you get stronger, even me, I've beaten IMs and GMs at like 70% with Vienna. I won't beat you, but give me.
It's like there was this very funny game in the Vienna. How did it go? I had this Vienna game. I think it was f4. Let me pull it up because I don't remember exactly how it occurred, but let me see if I can find it. It was in a U.S. championship.
Was it against Yermolinsky or?
No, it's not that one. That was this one with takes queen f3, knight c6, bishop b5, I believe, against Yermolinsky in the 2007 U.S. championship in Stillwater, Oklahoma. No, the one I was thinking of was in St. Louis, and it was actually I'll just show it because it's very funny. It was so it was knight f6, f4, d5. E takes d5, knight takes d5, and then I played f takes e5.
Okay.
So it looks kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
So black takes, you take, and they play queen h4 check. So now you can't go g3 because of queen e4.
Yeah.
So I played king to e2. He played bishop to g4, played knight to f3, knight to c6, and now I played queen to e1. Played queen to h5, and now I played king to d1. Knight takes e5, bishop e2, and I mean, it was a long game. It ended in a draw, but it's just pretty funny the way that you sort of rearrange your king, your queen on the back rank. So I just thought I'd point that out. So
wow, this is the most legitimate version of.
Isn't this a transvestite or something?
See,
Or you,
it is, but I'm too afraid of. I'm not sure if we're allowed to say that anymore. You know, with
what?
I don't know, man. They're gonna start saying that we're like naming it. I don't know, man.
We didn't name anyone, and it's a legitimate word in the English language.
I know, but I'm too scared. I'm too scared. You know, you brave. You're more brave than I am.
It's a legitimate word in the English language. We're not talking about anyone. Like
I know.
What is wrong with people? Anyway, okay.
A lot of stuff. Don't get me started on what's wrong with people. But yeah, but that's it. You're right.
I mean, yeah. Anyway, all right. So yeah, I just thought I'd point that out because you rearranged the king and the queen on D1 and E1 here. So it's like very weird, but it's kind of playable.
I like the Vienna a lot, and I think that if someone wants to play it, then
yeah, no, it's definitely playable. It's a great opening overall, I would say.
Last one?
So, yeah, we have one more. We have are those chicken wings?
I think that's a Pokemon, Hikaru. No? I thought it was a Pokemon.
Tell.
Am I wrong? Is that just not a Pokemon at all? I thought it was like
I don't know.
That's a Transformer. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, we're both very
wow. All right. Well, I'm gonna get canceled. I mean, that's like a wow.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So the wing gambit, right? So the wing gambit. Another opening that you like, which is E4, C5, now B4, where you basically, again, you start pushing your pawns on the wings. You gambit the pawns on the wings of the board.
Well, in my defense, I play A3, then B4, but also I only like this against the Sicilian. You could also play this against, like, the French. You could play...
True.
Like, this C5, and then B4.
Oh, this one I am not familiar... Isn't this just losing?
Isn't well? There's something in the French, no? With like
this is called the Frankel Gambit, which I've never even heard of. Oh, I have no idea what that's supposed to mean.
Oh, if it's only
I've literally never seen this move in my entire life. This B4 move. Oh, I literally have never seen it.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh, you younglings not learning proper chess.
Yeah,
what to say?
I
literally in my entire life I've never seen this move. I've never seen this.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And then you basically just want them to like take and then play A3. So
yeah, but I mean, all they do is take on D4. They ruin your pawn structure because they understand that the whole point of pushing is to build a pawn chain. So they break your pawn chain and you just lose your pawn in the center of the board.
You got to remember, I'm just telling you what exists. I'm not saying I play this. I'm saying this is what exists out there, man.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Heroin exists. I don't do it. It's kind of one of those things. All right, like just because I know it exists doesn't mean... No, I definitely don't recommend it against that. But you could also play this against, like, for example... You could play, like, knight F3 against the Sicilian and then play, like, B4.
True. Yeah, also true. So... yeah, I mean, I think, like, I actually like your A3 more, even though I think it's bad, too. But I like it more because after B4, if they know to play takes A3, D5, it's very unpleasant right away for black or for white. I mean,
yeah. Plus, like, it's one of these things. Even if you land it, what exactly have you gotten? Just some kind of like obscure queenside open lines. I guess it's not a completely awful.
Right. I will say, however, there was, of course, the wing gambit. Of course, is very infamous because the shortest game ever in the United States Chess Championship occurred in it, and there was this game between Cameron Shirazi and Jack Peters. I believe it was held in 1970. Was it 70s or 80s? I thought it was like 73 or 83. But there was a game where it went pawn takes pawn takes pawn takes pawn, and after queen e5, white resigned because you're just going to lose your rook in the corner of the board. So it is pretty infamous for that reason as well, because it was a 5-move game, in the United States Chess Championship featuring the best players in the country. So yeah, definitely not. Yeah, not even 6 moves.
I think just on that one game alone, this should go into one trick.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, one trick for who though? This is a white gambit, not a black gambit.
But it's not totally trash, right? Like I feel.
I mean, I know you can play e5 and it's kind of playable, but it's also it's not great. I mean, I think it's probably playable is where I would put it. Like I think it's something. I mean, general terms, it's like playable. It's not great. It's not terrible. I don't know where it goes though, because there aren't a ton of tactics. I mean, I guess it goes in one trick, even though technically, like, I mean, probably it goes in one trick, right?
Yeah,
that's what I'd say. I think it goes in one trick.
It's kind of worse than easy to equalize. It feels like.
Yeah, agreed, totally. Yeah, I think it's like it's not trash though. It's not total trash, so it has to go into one trick. And again, you guys were talking about beginners. We're not talking about like intermediate or grandmaster level.
Yeah, this is episode 1. So primarily for about 1500 and below. I think it's a good list. I'm pretty happy with this list. In general, don't weaken your king too much. And weaken your opponent's king. Open your lines for your bishops, your queens, your knights, and the quality of the opening itself is not what determines where it goes on this list. It's also the practicality of it, how often you'll land it, and how much theory you have to study. So